Hi everyone, my name is Kelly and welcome to Hanging with Howdy. Howdy is my newly acquired 2024 Ram Promaster 2500. It's got a 159-inch wheelbase and it is the higher top. I purchased Howdy with the intention to move into it as a little home in April of 2027. And today it is June the 7th, 2026. So I've got lots of time to do it, and I thought maybe I should just document this as I go. So first I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, just to let you know where I'm coming from. It won't explain everything about what I'm doing, but at least we can get to know each other a little bit better. I am 64. I'm a born and raised Texan, lived in Texas most of my life, and I have been single for quite a bit of my life, and especially the last 10 years. I have a grown kid. She's up in Connecticut, and so I'm living in San Antonio, Texas, and I don't have family really close by. About 4 years ago, I guess when I turned 60, all of a sudden I realized that retirement was not gonna go away, that it was gonna happen. I mean, I wanted it to happen, but then financially it just terrified me. And so I started getting really serious about looking straight on at my money and where I am in life and regarding my money, because I had kind of recovered from all the bad decisions in my life and I was getting fairly stable, but my retirement savings weren't that great, is what I really discovered, that it was kind of on the lower end of what I really needed to live. So at 60 years old, I just got super serious about, number one, savings. Just getting all my money into savings, working as much as I could, living a very simple life. And I was very successful with that. And then I started looking at, so how are you going to live after retirement? Because once I didn't have the full-time employment income, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford the lifestyle I was living, which is in a very nice apartment, right? And the monthly rent, it goes up every year. It was fine for now. It's fine for as long as I have an income, but it's not going to be okay sustainably once I go into retirement mode. So I considered everything. I considered all different ways of living, condos, mobile, everything, the whole gamut. And I looked in different parts of the United States, and I discovered that I could live a very, very simple life in a very, very simple home with what I have. But then that would be it. There would be not a lot of travel, not a lot of luxury. And to be honest with you, it would not fill my heart at all. It kind of gave me a sense of dread to be stuck somewhere. And to be honest with you, the areas that was most affordable in the United States seemed to be in areas where I don't have any people. It would be in the middle America, small town, nice as they are. It seemed like very friendly communities, but not where I would want to be. I don't have any connection to those places. So I had to, just really stop and think about it. I didn't really want to move up to Connecticut where my daughter is, because it's the cost of living there is just so much more, right? And so therefore my standard of living would have to come down just so far. And then I wouldn't be able to live really close to her. So I didn't see that as a solution. I have some land or access to land in East Texas, and I'm welcome to live there. I could have put up a cabin out there, but there's no communities nearby that are really vibrant and happening. And so I didn't think that I would have much of a social base going on. And I do, although I'm comfortable alone, I'm happy alone, I do need some outside influence around me. I do need to talk to people and interact with people. So then while I'm exploring these different alternative ways of living, of course you come across van life, right? And you come across Bob Wells and, the Housing Alliance on Wheels, but, and it dawned on me, oh my gosh, here's a whole new way of living. And I always wanted to be nomadic. I always wanted to explore new places. I get a kick out of figuring out new communities and challenging myself in that way. And my daughter has always said that I've always been one that wanted to, I was always seeking my community, seeking my people. And it's just a really true statement. So I finally just decided, you know what, just embrace that part of your personality and let's go for it. So then I focused hard on how to live a nomadic lifestyle. Is it going to be in a van? Is it going to be in a class C, a class B? And used, new, how much does this cost, and things like that. And so of course, if you've been on this journey, you know there's all kinds of choices, but it's also a huge range of how much it's going to cost. And at the end of the day, years pass, right? And I'm circling around. I'm circling around, looking. And finally, I just went, you know what? I keep going back to getting a Transit or a Promaster and high top so I can stand up in it, get the longest wheelbase I can, and just do and build it out the way I want it. Class C's, some of them are nice, but they were out of my price range, to be honest with you. And then things wear out. You have to maintain things. And also it offered a lot of amenities that I don't need as a single woman. You know, it's built out for families. And it's like, well, I don't see I'm ever going to need sleeping for 4 or 5. I'm never going to need that. And I never wanted to sleep up above the cab. I don't want to have to climb up. There's just a lot of little things. And I don't necessarily need a shower. I can always stop somewhere and get a shower, and I can take care of that outside my van, right? So I just didn't want to do the Class C. Even though I found some that were in the affordable range, I just couldn't embrace it. So here I am. So by the time I decided, I was looking for a fairly new model, but I ended up spending more than I wanted to, mainly because the budget that I had put in place, I really wasn't finding ones with low enough mileage in the best condition. And since I don't want to have to repair things on the road, and I'm not mechanically inclined myself, at least not yet, I wanted to get a little bit newer. And so I just had to bite the bullet and pay a little bit more, and that then cut into my conversion budget, if you will. So here I am. I got this guy a couple weeks ago, and the only thing I've done to it so far is I've cleaned some of the grime out and just spent some time driving it around town, just get used to how it drives, using the mirrors, using the rear view camera, or the backup camera. I should say that there are no windows in this van. I think that if I had had my druthers, I would have found one with windows, but this one came up and I felt like this was the one I wanted. And you know what? Now that I'm in it, I realize that the mirror system is really good. When I'm going to reverse, the camera is great. And I think when you just take care of where you're parking, I'm going to do it. Also, I looked into the cost of inserting windows, and I wasn't super happy with the price of that. And the price of the windows themselves is one thing. That seemed okay, but then when I realized, okay, I'm going to want someone to install them, I realized to do it professionally, that was going to be just pretty much the price of the window. And then if I used a friend or something like that, then it's like, is that going to be guaranteed work? Do they know what they're doing? So I've decided to table that for now. And that kind of goes on to my theme of what I'm going to do with the van, is that I'm going to take it one moment at a time. The first step for me is to put sound deadener in it. I already have that. And so I'm ready to begin that now, because I've cleaned everything. And then after that, I'll be doing some Thinsulate for the insulation. I did research all the insulations out there, and I know there's pros and cons about everything, but this is what I've chosen. Number one, because I can do it myself, and the affordability of it, and so that's what I'm doing. I've also learned, since you don't need sound deadener if you're doing Thinsulate, and that's another lesson I've just learned, or I've been told that, but I'm going to go ahead and go for it that way. But then my process after that is going to be kind of a no-build situation. I'm going to put a bed in and figure that out once I get the thin slate exactly how I want to do the bed. And then I want to do a kitchen, and then I'll do a table, or how am I going to do the workstation and things like that, and storage. None of it will be permanent to the van. You'll be able to take it out at a moment's notice. So if I do come into some more money and I can do stuff professionally built, I'll do it. Anyway, so that's going to be part of this video series, is watching me do this, and I'm hoping by having the commitment of a video every couple weeks, this will make me get out here and work on it. Now, I am getting into the heat of summer, so there's that to work with. So I'll have to, work for cool days or do it in the evenings or the mornings. I'm also still working full time. So I work 7 to 4, Monday through Friday. And so by the time I get off at 4, it's nice and hot here. And, but I also have personal things to take care of. So the journey is going to be a little bit about that, but I want to make some progress every week or every 2 weeks, actually have some sort of measurable steps forward. And I'm not going to worry about step 10 right now. Right now, I'm just worried about step 1. A couple other considerations maybe I want to share is that I'm going to be working. I'm going to continue to work after I get in the van. It won't be full time. I'm negotiating with my employer a little bit about that. We've had some initial conversations, and they seem to be open to a lot of different variables. So for now, I think I'm just going to do some reduced hours. That way I don't have to go I can keep my insurance and my benefits, and I don't have to fully embrace Social Security and all that, full retirement. But that means I do need to build out the van, or workstation in the van, and the power that it takes there. Again, tomorrow's problem, but that's on my list. Another big consideration is I have a couple of cats. Those guys are going to be coming with me. I thought about rehoming them. I just can't. I can't let them go. I've had them now for one for like 8 years. I've just had them too long. They're bonded to each other. They're bonded to me. I'm bonded to them, and I just can't do it. I would never have chosen to do van life with cats, but I have cats, so guess what? We're going to figure it out. Again, just one step at a time. I will be using people on YouTube to tell me how to do that. I know I have plenty of videos and examples to follow there. Everything I'm going to be doing in the van is probably not going to be original thought. It's going to be what I learned from people like me out there on YouTube that are doing it. But I still would love for you guys to come along. Once I get it built and I get on the road, I think it's going to bring a whole new chapter of hanging with Howdy. And I have this dream of inviting other people into Howdy to tell us stories. I want to know people's stories about themselves, about the lives that they've lived, and maybe moments in their life that has really shifted how they did life, or their perception of life, or things that they had to live through, and it just really made them grow and change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. I know I have a plethora of stories, and I'll hopefully be sharing some of those. And I hope to run across people in my travels that do that. And the purpose of that for me is to keep myself connected to humans as I travel nomadically, since I will be leaving community here. I don't have a huge community here, but I do know people in the neighborhood and where my little circle here. But it'll make me talk to strangers and get out there. And so before I even go, I'm going to be experimenting with that and trying to practice talking to strangers and bring them into Howdy, or next to Howdy. I may not bring everybody into my van, but at least it'll be nearby Howdy, because I want to make Howdy the central point of it. And so I think that would get more interesting as we go and as I travel and exchange. So thank you for joining me. I am really now very excited, especially now that I'm being witnessed. It's not just going to be thoughts in my head. I can actually express it outward. And until next time.